Welcome back to the Bayou Guerrilla Gardener. We did get, I think, 33, 34, somewhere in there, maybe even a 32 Monday and Tuesday night. We covered these with a big extra blanket. You can still see some of the frost damage even after getting covered. Leaves are a little burned in spots, but it saved it enough where it's still flowering and hopefully getting pollinated. And there's still seeds developing in some of these pods. So a little bit more and I can start harvesting seeds off of this flower. The oregano, we didn't really need to cover. It'll do just fine through the winter. It goes dormant and it'll come back in the spring. Because it was same type of oregano I had back up in northern Idaho, and it gets very cold there, and it comes back fine in the spring. We covered our flowers as well, and these basil. These ones got hit a little, but the flowers, I think the flowers are fairly frost hardy because I don't see any damage on their leaves at all. The mint is fairly frost hardy. It is doing better now that it's not so hot. But yeah, the basil just had some frost damage. And then where'd my plant go? There it is. Unbury it. This is, what is it? Not bee balm. Thought it started with a B. I forget what it is. I'll remember at some point. But that seed that I've planted and harvested the seed, harvested the seed, I think this is third or fourth generation now. And it's supposed to be really good for bees. It's a little blue flower. But we'll head out to the actual guerrilla garden here now. I remember what it was. It's borage. It did start with a B. And it actually looks like everything survived. I don't think the frost was actually that bad. Although something's out here again, moving all my barriers. Like, not the collard. Oh, there's a little green ladybug on this one. You see that? Or maybe there's two. There's two green ladybugs. Well, I let this one just go to flower. This is bok choy. Hopefully we'll get some seeds from it. These two look like they may head. I don't know if they'll actually head. I hope they'll head. But they've got some older dead leaves, and we'll just let these sit here and become bioaccumulators, or worm food. Worm food. Ow, these things get spiky fast. Or wild blackberries. But this is good worm food, hopefully. And get some nutrients into the garden. I don't know if this cucumber is going to plump up the way it's supposed to plump up. It looks kind of funky, both of them. See how they're starting to plump on one side, but I don't know if they'll plump all the way. I don't know if the cold messed them up or not. Something ate the rest of that bean plant. That already got hit by the frost. This one, almost ready to harvest. Almost. That one's gonna flower. That one's gonna flower. I have more blackberries I need to trim out of here. That one's almost ready. That one I think got hit by the frost. And then the one potato that's still left. That doesn't look like it actually. Weather Channel said we'd get down to 34, 33, but I don't think we actually did, because if you look at all these beans that are sprouting up, none of the beans got hit. So I would say that nothing happened. I think those are pits from our avocados. And then the alum, or the onion, is still doing well. I don't know what that is. Let it grow, I guess. Let that grow. If I get these blackberries when they're small like this, then it won't prick me when they get bigger. The only blackberries we really want are those blackberries over there. And then, is there anything else in here still? There was stuff in here. Oh, there's one. The thunderstorms that came through moved some of my debris layer, I think. What, is there a bug on me? There we go. So, the radishes, I don't think they're going to flower. I wanted them to flower because they weren't bulbing up. I mean, look at that. There's not really a bulb on that root. So I wanted them to flower, but they don't seem to be flowering either for me, so I don't know what they're going to do. They're just going to grow, put roots in the ground, create sugars and exudates that feed the other beneficial bacteria and fungi and create life so that hopefully we have more fertility in the ground come spring. And then the cilantro also is not going nearly as fast as I thought it was going to go. We got tiny cilantro. And that's not cilantro. There is this spiky one already. And these things get spiky fast. They definitely are designed to keep predators from eating them. Or other critters from eating them. So watch where you step there. Whereas these blackberries are a thornless variety and not designed really to keep things from eating them. They haven't really put on any new growth since we put them in, what, a month and a half ago now? But that's okay, because this isn't really the growth season. It should be in the spring. But that's what we got going on in the Guerrilla garden. Pull up some of the blackberry we don't want, growing right next to the blackberry we do want. I don't want to get confused. Then I'll sort of let these other small things that aren't blackberry grow, get some roots in the ground, keep it covered. But if it's blackberry, I don't really want it next to my blackberry. There we go. And it looks like the compost pile is starting to, it hit a big enough size where it is making, God willing, making compost. I mean, it's got the beans growing in it. It looks like ants have made a hill on the backside here. So they brought up some dirt. Maybe brought up some dirt over there too. So ants are all in this thing now. That's nice. And then the beans are throwing roots everywhere in it. So this should actually hopefully be some decent compost come spring. And then we can spread it around the Guerrilla garden, get some fertility, maybe get a broad fork the soil, break up some of the compaction that's going on, and have a much better harvest and garden next spring. But this is December the 3rd, and you've been watching the Bayou Guerrilla Gardener. Please like, share, and subscribe.